So we talked about variability and transferring variability from one variable to another. Now let's take a look at the dynamics aspect of control and how this dynamics and control are related. So again, we'll take a simple example. This is the furnace for room heating. So if you think that initially the furnace is a fuel flow to the furnace is at 50% and you change it to 60%, what will happen to the room temperature? Now if you can draw it here with time, and fuel flow, initially it was something at 50 and we change it to 60. So whatever the temperature was, it will remain there, and when you change it to the 50 value, it will not immediately change it to 60. Now it will go like maybe something like this to some other value. It may go something like this one, or it may very, very fast to go something like this. Now how does this room temperature changes? When you make that change in the fuel flow. Now that will determine really how we can manipulate the fuel flow to maintain a certain temperature in the room. So in process control, that's all about process dynamics. So if you can look at this, the process dynamics is all about capturing, expressing, and predicting the time-dependent behavior of process variable and their relations. So through dynamics, we understand the process, and through control, we manipulate the process to operate it at our desired operating condition. Now think about the same furnace problem. How does it maintain the room temperature although the outside temperature is changing? So consider a scenario on a nice day that the temperature from 6 am to 12 am increases linearly with time. So this is outside temperature that changes linearly. Now, how the furnace will be able to maintain the room temperature at, say, suppose your desired value is at 20. So this is the room temperature you want to maintain. So you want somewhere around 20. A little bit variation will be there, but you want to maintain something around that. So that will happen if you really can manipulate the fuel flow to the furnace in a way that will be able to balance the outside temperature. So maybe you can think of something like this one. Now the controller needs to know how much change to make. Okay, and that will depend on what is the relation between the fluid flow and the room temperature. So this knowledge is the most important thing for the controller to be able to manipulate its fuel flow in a way that the room temperature remains constant. So that's fundamental about the relation between dynamics and control. If the dynamic behavior of the process is not known to the controller cannot really maintain the variables at the desired value. So the controller, if it knows very well the dynamic behavior, then it can manipulate the variable to maintain another variable at its desired value. So that's what is about process control, is to systematically manipulate some variable to maintain some other variables at their desired levels. Again, related to the last concept that we talked about, variability, that really in doing so, you're transferring the variability from one variable to another. Now, variables in a plant need to be maintained for different reasons. We'll discuss in details. Just it's maybe about to ensure safety, maintain product quality, or optimize operation, whatsoever different reasons. Variables need to be maintained. Okay, so that brings you to the learning goals of this course. So the learning goals of this course is to know the scientific and engineering principles of process dynamics and control. Think about these two parts, they are related, dynamics and control. So by the conclusion of this course, you should explain rationale behind different control strategies and role of control in plant operation. So how really that philosophy of manipulating one variable to maintain other variable are applied, those are what is called this control strategy. So you need to understand those strategies and should be explain those. And for doing the control, you should develop dynamic models of process systems from first principles and process data. So as I said, the modeling is important, but how to do the modeling? There are two approaches, what is called first principles and then system identification. We'll see both of those. You should use mathematical tools to represent dynamic models to control design and study the dynamic response of different systems to standard inputs. You should be able to design PID controllers. You should be able to analyze the stability of a control system, because just implementing control is not enough. You need to make sure that its operation under the control is stable. And then we'll see that how to apply the control in different systems. Those are the learning outcomes. So the core concepts are divided into 4 different segments. I would say the basic concepts we'll try to cover in the first 2 weeks. The dynamics part we'll try to cover in the subsequent 4 weeks. And then next 4 weeks will be on controller design and its implementation, and then some aspects of advanced topics at the end. Now we always show this to the students regarding what are the graduate attributes. So CIB has a set of 12 graduate attributes the students need to have if they are graduating from an engineering program. These are divided into 3 parts: the engineering component, the practicing component, and the interacting component. So engineering components are the knowledge base, problem analysis, investigation, use of tools, economics and project management, and design. So we know these things better because most of the time we focus on this, but there are other aspects which are more important, than the aspects of interaction. So you have to understand the impact of engineering on society and environment. You have to have the certain communication skills, and you have to have the ability to work individually and as a team. And then other practical aspects, which are what is called this lifelong learning, ethics and equity, and professionalism. So in this course, we'll try to see that, okay, we'll try to develop assessment, we'll try to develop homeworks, everything based on these 12 attributes, so that each of the assessment really incorporate one or more of these graduate attributes that should be helpful for the students. So this is all about, again, the content of the course, and then the relation of the contents to the graduate attributes. So hopefully by covering at the end of the course, you should be able to develop all of these attributes to the desired levels.